Hello, I'm Dr. Jim Horwitz. For 20 years I've been a pediatrician and I've been asked many questions about childhood obesity and how to manage it. It's a difficult topic, but you can make a difference. It's unique in the situation of pediatrics because it's typically not the patient who is concerned about their weight and growth, but the parent. Managing this problem is going to require a number of different issues to be tackled. First is going to be the cultural issues. Most people believe that they do a good job of preparing meals and eating the right amount of food and offering the right amount of food to their children. And they also believe that their children are very active and run around like crazy. However, the sad truth is that in America, most people actually eat more than they need to eat. They eat the wrong foods, and they're not as active as they think they are. To change a child's eating patterns is going to require a change in the way the entire family eats. If you want your child to eat healthy foods and low-calorie foods, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to watch what you bring into the house. You can't have those high-calorie snacks that you want to have in the house for you to eat, but not your child. You all have to have the same rules. Likewise, if you have a split household and your child spends some time at the father's household and sometimes at the mother's household, both households are going to have to agree on the plan for this to work. So how do you approach this problem? Well, first let's talk about portioning. It's heartwarming to see a family dinner where everybody gathers around the table and there's large bowls of food and everybody takes big heaping helpings of the food. However, what really needs to happen is portioning. What will work out to your advantage will be to portion out the food on the counter and only put the plates on the table. Don't put the bowls with extra food in them on the table at all. They should be out of sight. That way, there's no urge to eat that extra half a chicken breast or whatever is left over. It's helpful sometimes to get some of the lean cuisine meals or other prepackaged diet foods because not so much that they're great food, but because they remind you what a healthy portion looks like. When you go to restaurants, you get used to seeing very large portions. In fact, most restaurants seem to give you enough food for 2 meals. If you have to go to restaurants that offer reasonable menu alternatives other than just high-calorie fried foods, and ask for a to-go box right away. As soon as you see food on your plate, your brain tells you, it must be okay for me to eat that food. They wouldn't have given it to me, right? And you go on your way to accomplish your task of clearing that plate. So why not put half that food away in a carry-out container right from the get-go and get it off your plate, out of sight? That way there's no internal pressure from yourself to finish your food. And you've got a meal for the next day as well. Let's talk a little bit about snacks as well. It may be a good idea to pre-package some snacks so that after school everybody isn't running into the house looking for something to eat, grabbing a bag of chips and eating until they're satisfied. Why not pre-package some snacks in sandwich bags or buy some of the pre-packaged 100-calorie pack cookies or something so that it's very well established what the snack is going to be after school, no more, no less. That is the snack, no questions asked. A lot of mealtime and snack time arguments can be avoided by setting these rules out in advance. Again, everybody in the household is going to have the same rules on their snacking for this to be successful. When I have discussions with parents about obesity in their children, they start to ask questions about how they can get their child to lose weight. And I try and change the discussion not to how their child can lose weight, but how you can develop an active, healthy lifestyle. It's much more important to teach your child how to eat healthily for the rest of their life than it is to get to a very healthy weight today. One problem with young people who are overweight is that school-age children generally don't care if they are overweight. It's not until they are teenagers in high school and there's more social pressure and more concern about body image that they really want to make a difference. So for the younger children, it's important to establish expectations of what their meals and snacks are going to be, and daily expectations of what their exercise should be. Small children typically need about an hour of physical activity every single day. Now, physical activity doesn't have to mean getting all sweaty to the point where you need a shower. Simply walking for an hour, riding a bike, but not sitting on the bars and talking, swimming, but not just playing in the shallow end of the pool, or any other activity. It can be walking around the block. It can be throwing a frisbee from mailbox to mailbox. It can be lifting weights, small weights, such as even canned food, sacks of potatoes in the house. There's plenty of things you can do on rainy days. Walking up the steps from the first floor to the second floor of the house repeatedly can be a fun game at times. For teenagers, it's sometimes useful to have an incentive if they are motivated. For example, a pedometer may be useful. When using pedometers, people often set 10,000 steps a day as a goal. Rather than doing that, I would recommend initially getting a pedometer and having your teenager wear it around for a couple of days and just writing down in their own private diary how many steps they had each day. Then they can try to slowly increase their goal from 4,000 to 4,500, 5,000 steps, a little bit each day, and they can keep track of it in their journal. And it can be their private effort. And the good thing is, if you haven't achieved your goal and it's, say, 8 o'clock at night, you can walk around the house for a while and get those extra steps. And it doesn't require any special equipment. It's important, though, that the whole family have an activity plan so that your child sees that you go for a walk after dinner, that you do these things. It's part of your life. Team sports are wonderful activities for young people. However, as we mature, it's important to have activities that we like to do as individuals that don't require a lot of team members and don't require a lot of equipment, so that they can be done on a daily basis without a lot of effort. It's also useful to establish early on that a child has a certain athletic ability. For example, when I was younger, I ran 1 year of cross country in high school. I wasn't very good at it, but I established in my mind that I was a runner. And to this day, I still run. And some days when I don't want to run, I run because I am a runner. It's part of my identity, and that helps me. So those youth soccer experiences and karate and all these things that we do as kids on team sports can help identify you as an adult, as an active person, even if you don't pursue them in high school or in college's more serious sports. As I've mentioned, I don't like to put the focus on actual weight loss as much as I like to encourage developing a healthy lifestyle that can be maintained throughout your life. However, if you have an adolescent who wishes to diet, I would have you consider a couple of things. First, don't go on a crash diet. Excessive calorie restriction is going to lead to hunger and probably to frustration and failure. So instead, a modest dietary restriction of, say, 1,400 calories a day is a modest restriction that can still allow for a lot of satisfying meals. It would be good to discuss this diet with a dietitian or with your family doctor to make sure that you're not missing any important nutrients in this diet. When dieting, it may be a good idea for an adolescent to take a multivitamin as well. Low carbohydrate diets such as Atkins diet, South Beach diet may produce quick results, but I personally don't believe they are a long-term solution that will lead to dietary modification that will lead to a lifetime of healthy eating. Instead, I encourage simply a modest calorie restriction of a balanced diet. To summarize, first, establish a culture of eating appropriately, eating good foods, eating good portions, and daily activity for all family members. Help your child to develop a healthy self-image that involves identifying themselves as an active person. Second, portion food. Pre-portion food at the counter and only put the dinner plates at the table. All snacks should be pre-portioned. No open-ended snacking should be allowed or expected. Avoid arguments by setting out the day's snacks in the morning so that there are no battles in the afternoon when it comes to snack time. Set a good example yourself. Number 3, be consistent. Don't change the rules and don't use food as a reward. Number 4, help your child establish meaningful daily activity goals and help them achieve them. Number 5, focus on long-term healthy lifestyle and not on actual day-to-day weight loss. Number 6, dieting should be done carefully and under the supervision of a physician or dietitian. Avoid excessive dieting that will lead to frustration and probably failure. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it helps you.